Understanding your pattern in your mind is only half the battle. Real change requires changing your environment. If you're ready to bring intentional regulation into your daily life, the official store is live. Go to installselfos.com/store. There, you will find real-world tools and resources engineered to ground your nervous system and disrupt the autopilot. Somatic anchors like premium weighted blankets and physical Pomodoro timers, alongside books and guides available in both print and digital formats depending on how you choose to study. Everything you need to transition from theoretical awareness to daily, deliberate practice. Bring the code into the physical world. Go to installselfos.com/store. Explore the ecosystem and take full ownership of your operating system today. Installselfos.com/store.
Last time, I told you she was waiting. That the woman I hid, the real one, the honest one, the one who wanted things and deserved them, was still there, still waiting. And I meant it. But I didn't tell you the hardest part. The hardest part isn't finding her. It's facing what you did to her while she waited. Because she didn't wait quietly in some safe place while you figured it out. She waited inside every relationship you brought her into. Inside every love you asked her to survive. Inside every moment, you handed someone else the pen and let them write the verdict on her worth. She was there for all of it. And she watched you apologize for her constantly, before anyone even asked you to. She watched you build the case for why your needs were reasonable enough, why your feelings were small enough, why your presence was convenient enough to be tolerated. She watched you make yourself the least expensive version of a woman so that no one would ever have cause to confirm what you feared most, that you were the kind of thing people decided against. And she never once asked you to do that. That was never what she needed from you. What she needed, what she always needed, was for you to stop leaving her behind every time love walked into the room. That's what this episode is about, not the wound. We sat with that last time. This is about the apology, the one that's 30-something years overdue, the one that doesn't go to him, the one that goes to her.
Her. O-S. Have you ever missed someone and then realized the person you missed was you? The woman you were before the disappointment, before the heartbreak, before survival became your personality. The woman who laughed easier, trusted easier, loved easier. She's not gone. She's waiting. There's a guide in reflection, designed by SelfOS. It's called Pause Before You React. 6 questions, 1 clear response. A way to reconnect with the woman beneath the coping. The link is in the show notes. Now, back to her OS.
Here's what I learned to do in love. I learned to apologize before anyone asked me to. Not just the reflexive sorry, the one that falls out of your mouth before you've even checked whether you've done anything wrong. I mean the deeper kind. The sorry that lives in your posture, in the way you enter a room, in the way you phrase a need so it barely sounds like a need at all. I've said sorry for crying, sorry for being upset, sorry for needing 5 minutes to feel something before I was okay again. I said sorry for bringing something up, sorry for bringing it up again, sorry for having feelings that didn't resolve on someone else's timeline. I said sorry for needing reassurance, sorry for needing connection, sorry for wanting to be chosen in the way I could actually feel. And underneath every sorry, underneath all of it, was this. I'm sorry for needing anything at all. And it didn't stop at sorry. I over-explained everything. Not because I was confused, but because I was afraid. Afraid that if I didn't justify my need completely, if I didn't make it airtight, make it reasonable, make it so small and so logical that no one could argue with it, it would be rejected. I would be rejected. And so I built cases for my own feelings in my own relationships with the people who were supposed to feel safe. I made arguments for why I deserved comfort. I pre-apologized for the inconvenience of needing it. I presented my hurt like evidence, and I waited for the verdict. And even when the verdict came back in my favor, even when someone said, "Of course, I'm here, I've got you," I didn't fully believe it. Because I wasn't really asking them. I was asking him over and over and over again in every relationship, with every sorry, with every need I made myself prove I deserved. I was back in that room, still frozen, still hearing the words that settled into me like something permanent, still doing the only math available to a child who loved her father and couldn't make sense of why he didn't want her. I wish I took up less space. That was the sentence underneath every sorry. That was the belief underneath every over-explanation. That was the wound I was managing in every love I ever tried to build. Not because the people I loved were anything like him, but because I never stopped bringing him to the table with me.
And maybe that's the part nobody talks about. The survival strategies that saved you once don't always know when the danger is over. So they keep working. They keep scanning rooms for rejection that isn't there. They keep translating silence into abandonment, distance into proof, a delayed response into a verdict. Not because you're broken, because something inside you learned that love could disappear without warning. And when a lesson gets learned young enough, it doesn't feel like a belief. It feels like the truth. For years, I thought I was protecting myself from disappointment, from rejection, from being left. But what I was really protecting was an old story. A story that kept asking me to become smaller than I was. A story that demanded evidence before it would let me feel worthy. And the hardest realization of all, the person paying the price for that story wasn't him. It was her. The woman still waiting inside me, wondering when I'd finally realize she was never the one who needed fixing.
So here it is, the apology that I owe her. Not to him, not to the people I loved who got a smaller version of me than they deserved. To her. I'm sorry I made you prove yourself in every room you ever loved someone in. I'm sorry I turned every relationship into a courtroom where you always were somehow on trial. I'm sorry for every need I made you shrink before you were allowed to voice it. Every feeling I made you justify before you were allowed to feel it. I'm sorry for every time you started to say, "I need more from you," and turned it into, "I'm sorry, I just," and then let it go. I'm sorry for every time you felt joy, real, uncomplicated, unguarded joy, and I looked around the room first to make sure everyone else was okay before I let you have it. As if your happiness needed a permission slip. As if your delight was only valid once you confirmed it wasn't inconveniencing anyone. I'm sorry for every relationship I brought you into already apologizing, already half gone, already so busy managing the distance between who I was and who I thought I needed to be to make someone stay, that you barely got to show up at all. I'm sorry I taught you that love was something you earned by needing nothing. By being easy, by being grateful, by being so uncomplicated, so low maintenance, so careful never to be too much, that you forgot you were allowed to be anything at all. And most of all, I'm sorry I let his sentence become your sentence. He said he didn't want kids and you were a kid and the only math available to you was that this was about you. It wasn't. It never was about you. It was about a man who didn't have the capacity to meet what was in front of him. And I know that understanding it doesn't make it stop hurting. You can know something completely and still feel the shape of it in every room you've ever tried to earn your place in. And that's allowed. But I'm not going to keep making you pay for his limitations. Not in one more relationship, not in one more sorry you didn't know, not in one more need you had to justify before you were allowed to have it. That ends here. That ends now. You were never the problem. You were never too much. You were never the kind of thing that people decide against. You were a child who deserved to be chosen by someone who wasn't capable of it. And I'm so sorry it took me this long to tell you so.
Installing her OS.
The loop doesn't stop. Just because you want it to. The same reaction, the same thought, the same automated response, running over the same neural track. You aren't broken. You're just running old code. Break the pattern. How to interrupt automatic thought and reaction. A practical framework written by Tom Lawhorn Jr. It's not about willpower. It's about awareness. Understanding the behavioral loop before the grip tightens. Available now on Amazon. The manual for your system is finally here. Break the pattern.
Here's where we go from here. Not with a grand declaration, not with fearlessness we haven't earned yet, not with the performance of a woman who has done the work and emerged completely transformed. With something smaller and much, much harder. We stop apologizing for our needs before anyone has even responded to them. Just that. Just the pause. The half second before sorry leaves your mouth is where you ask, wait, did I actually do something wrong here? Or did I just need something? Because those are not the same thing. Needing comfort is not a wrongdoing. Needing reassurance is not a character flaw. Needing more, needing to be seen, to be chosen, to be loved in a way that actually reaches you, that's not too much. That's just human. And you're allowed to be human in your relationships without filing a brief first. The second thing, we stop building cases for our own feelings. Your feelings don't need to be reasonable to be real. They don't need to be convenient to deserve space. They don't need to be perfectly articulated and logically airtight before you're allowed to say them out loud. The next time you catch yourself pre-justifying, pre-shrinking, pre-apologizing for a feeling that hasn't even landed yet, you stop and you say it plainly. Not perfectly, not defensively, just plainly. I need this. I feel this. This matters to me. No case, no sorry, no making it smaller so it's easier to carry for someone else. Just the truth. And the third thing, we stop letting his verdicts sit at the table in our relationships. He doesn't get a seat there anymore. Every time you brace for rejection in a moment that doesn't warrant it, every time you love someone from a crouch instead of standing up straight, every time you feel that old math kick in, the one that says, I must be the kind of thing people decide against. You name it. Out loud. Inside. However you need to, you name it. That's his, not mine. That's the room I grew up in, not the room I'm standing in now. That's the wound talking, not the truth. Because here's what I need you to hear. She does not need you to be fully healed before you let her out. She doesn't need you to have it figured out. She doesn't need you to be fearless or certain or finished. She just needs you to stop making her prove she deserves to be here. In your relationships, in your love, in your own life. She's already earned it. She earned it the moment she kept reaching even after he didn't reach back. That's not her flaw. That's the most extraordinary thing about her. I want to say one more thing before you go. To the woman who is listening to this and recognizing herself in every word, I see you. The one who has spent years in relationships half present, half apologizing, half convinced that the full version of her was more than anyone could handle, I see you. The one who has loved beautifully and loyally and completely from a crouch. The one who has given so much of herself in service of staying that she forgot what it felt like to just be. To just exist in a love without managing it, without earning it, without making herself the least inconvenient version of a woman so that no one would ever decide she wasn't worth the trouble. You were always worth the trouble. The love you were looking for, the one that didn't require you to shrink, the one that didn't make you prove your needs, the one that held you without making you feel like a burden for needing to be held. That love was not asking too much. That love exists. And more importantly, you were capable of receiving it. Not the version of you that's been auditioning, not the version that arrives already apologizing, not the version that's been so busy surviving the echo of one man's limitations that she forgot she was allowed to want more. The real one. Her. The woman who has been waiting. She's the one who gets to have it, and she's closer than you think. When the nights get heavy, I want you to remember this. Every sorry you didn't owe, every need you made yourself prove, every time you loved someone from a crouch because standing up straight felt like too much to ask, that wasn't you being too much. That was you surviving a verdict that was never yours to carry. You can put it down now. You were never what he decided. You were always, already, more than enough. And she, the woman you've been hiding, protecting, apologizing for, she's not waiting anymore. She's ready. And so are you.
This was a production of Self-OS. Awareness is power.